Hello, FPL managers. Welcome to episode 128 of the FPL Optimized podcast. And this could actually be our final episode, as we announced last week. I am Bas, the casual manager, and my co host is Sertop, the data scientist. This is the podcast in which we combine analytics with the good old eye test. Data or grass, or data and grass? That's the question. And while I'm saying that, I realize it could be the final time that I said that famous sentence. Sertop, buddy, is this really our final episode? I don't think I fully realized yet that we might be recording together for the final time.
Yeah, probably. It does feel surreal for sure. Like every week, no matter what happens, like how chaotic life gets, like or if you go to a vacation, we try
Yes,
to sit down. Like even you recorded from vacation time to time,
indeed.
and yeah,
Twice.
yeah. And I mean, we share this little space about like football, numbers, banter, and just being ourselves, like talking to each other casually.
Yep.
Um, well, it started as a niche idea and turned into something interesting and meaningful, at least for the both of us and hopefully for other people too. Well,
Yep.
if this is really the last time, I just want to say it has been a privilege, Bas. Your professionalism and dedication truly made this journey a joy for me through these years.
Oh, that's very nice. And that's likewise, of course. Thanks also. Yeah, certainly we had fun recording for 3 seasons. And I'm sure we'll stay in touch anyway, but it certainly will be strange not seeing you every week anymore. Oh, well, let's stop the sentimental talking for now, at least for now. And let's do our best to offer useful insights once more to you, our listeners, as we prepare for final game week 38. And actually, I'm wearing the KDB shirt because my son told me, KDB played his final match for City. It's only fitting to wear the KDB shirt for the final podcast episode. And I was thinking, the jerseys was a topic of the podcast, so I actually took some jerseys here with me today. So I might be switching while we're
Okay.
talking just for a bit of fun.
Yeah, for every
All right.
section, you can wear a different jersey.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So this was KDB new shirt, and it was actually quite nice because thanks to the podcast, I kind of had to buy a few new shirts, and this was one. Otherwise, I would probably have never bought a City shirt. But I quite like it. Okay, well, we will talk about game week 38, of course, but before we do that, let's do a quick review of how game week 37 went for us.
Sure. I finished the game week with 58 points. It's 4 points above the safety score. Which jersey are you wearing, by the way?
This is a white one. No, kidding.
No,
Orange. Yes,
no.
we'll need to wear some orange.
Looks good. Um, yeah, I finished the game week with 58 points. It's a very small green arrow. I'm at 134k right now. I'm close to 100k, but I'm not sure if I will be able to make it. I think there's like I need to score more than like maybe 15 points above the field average, which seems a little bit difficult even on free hit. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
game week started nice, I guess. I have Visa in my team, and I actually transferred out Marmush for Vardy because it was also his
Okay.
last game for Leicester.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I had a Leicester jersey, I could have be wearing it. So it was his like 500 game too for
Yes.
Leicester, and he scored 199 goals before the game. I said, well, it's written
Yeah.
in stars, like he's gonna play his like 500th game and also score the 200th goal, and he
Yes.
did. So it was a nice goal too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I can't complain too much about it. I was really
No.
hoping to get closer to you and have a chance to maybe pass you. I'm not too far, to be honest, but
No.
I don't think I don't see it's happening. 14 points is a little bit too much, I guess. How was your game week?
Well, you do have your free hit, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a rather good game week, 65 points. I made the bold move, let's say, to sell Salah for Palmer. I talked a little bit about it last week. Wasn't sure if I would really do it. In the end, I did it. Well, I think in terms of points, it was a bit useless, to be honest, because Palmer didn't do much, and Salah blanked, so I didn't lose. That was a good thing, but it also leaves me a bit worried now for final game week 38. Even though, well, we haven't seen much evidence from Liverpool that they're a team to invest in, but of course, they do have the home game against Crystal Palace, like a big celebration game, probably. So, yeah, bit worried about it. But yeah, let's see. Let's just talk about my 37 score for now. So, I had a good start on Friday. That was nice with the Konza 15 pointer, plus also Martinez clean sheet. And I had an assist from my captain, Rogers. So that was another risk, I think, captaining Rogers, which who would, we talked about it again. He didn't show up in the captaincy matrix, but I was thinking Villa would do well. And then later on in the weekend, yeah, I had the 8 points from Bowen, so that's nice. Really, yeah, Bowen has been really doing well. And yesterday also 8 points from Mamouche. So I'm pretty happy. I'm at 101k OR, so I'm really close to the 100k mark. So yeah, it's definitely possible to make it. And I'm also leading one of my main mini leagues. I talked about that before. I now have a lead of 31 points, so that feels quite good. But you never know. So I hope it will be sufficient to win it. Um, and yeah, as I said, it also makes me a bit nervous. I want to keep that lead. I have one free transfer, so I need to really think carefully how I want to use it. Bringing back Salah could be one option, even though it feels a bit stupid as I just sold him. So yeah, let's see. I'm hoping that our discussion today will give me some inspiration.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, we usually take a look at the fixture ticker, and I suggest that we still do that anyway. Again, even if there's only one game week left, I think it's still useful to scan through the fixtures. And as we did in the previous weeks, let's also look at the odds from Rob T. So yeah, we will be aware which key fixtures we should be targeting.
Yeah, certainly. So at the top of the chart, we have Arsenal. Their defense projected point average for this week is 4.7 against Southampton, and offensive point average is 5.3. So it's one of the highest. That's the jersey. In the second place, we have Liverpool playing against Crystal Palace. 4.2 is the defense point average, and 5.4 is the offense point average. It's the highest in offense among the offense players. And in the third place, we have Bournemouth. So, like, as a person who is free hitting this game week, I think Bournemouth will be my target too. Defensively, it is 4.2 against Leicester, and 5.2 is the offense point average. And then in the fourth place, we have Newcastle playing against Everton. So yeah, I see lots of like Newcastle, Bournemouth, Arsenal defenders mixed in the optimal teams that I was, changing the input a little bit, trying to see what kind of like options there are. But yeah, mainly among these three teams, I think I will get my defenders. So 4.1 is the point defense point average against Everton for Newcastle, and 5.1 is the offense point average. In the fifth place, we have Manchester City playing against Fulham. 3.5 is defense average, and 4.6 is offense average. Then in order, we have West Ham. Again, so also some West Ham players appeared in the optimal team, I think. We have Chelsea playing against Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa against Manchester United, Brentford against Wolves, and finally Brighton against Tottenham in the 10th place. So a little bit difficult though, because some of these teams will rotate very heavily. So these point averages may not mean too much for some of the teams. But what do you think?
That's the difficulty. Yeah, yeah. I think Arteta, it seems he made some comments that I think some of his players will get some break already this week. So yeah, I think Arsenal kind of secured their spot, so they don't really need to go all in anymore. I think that also means like for Saliba, I think it's also confirmed that he'll be out. Anyway, why would you risk it? So I think that's for many people like myself, maybe a change of plans because we were kind of counting on the double Arsenal defense for this game. But as you said, there will be rotation. So I think also for all the people who were thinking to bring in Saka, yeah, you could wonder if that's still the right thing to do. So I think Arsenal will be difficult this week to imagine what will happen. Liverpool, yeah, it's their home game, final one. I think also this is the game where they will celebrate the championship. So I think they will be probably with a quite strong team, at least to start with, against Crystal Palace. Not to underestimate Crystal Palace.
They have been
Um,
partying too. We talk
they
about
have
it,
been
Liverpool.
partying
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Liverpool has been on the beach last week, as we said. So this will be an interesting game. But I
It
think
was
they
a
will be
short beach
motivated.
trip, I guess. They came
Yeah,
back quickly.
yeah. I think Liverpool will be motivated for this one. So I think, yeah, I'm a bit worried having no Liverpool. Talk about that a little bit later. Bournemouth versus Leicester. I don't think Bournemouth has much to play for anymore. So I think that was a bit of a concern for the people, like you said, who are planning to invest in Bournemouth, because they were hoping that they would still have something to play for. But still, a good home game against Leicester, and I think they had a really good season. So I think they want to also finish it with a good game. So I think Evan Nielsen, for example, is still a really good option. I like Newcastle because I think Newcastle does still have something to play for, and they do have a home game against Everton. Question mark with Isaac, of course. I have him. I think I will play him. I liked an analysis in one of the podcasts. I'm not sure if it's true, but I think they said that, like, that was the away game to Arsenal. It could be kind of a calculated bet to say, all right, we don't really need Isaac there. We'll kind of give him a break, and then we'll use him for the Everton home game. Again, I'm not sure if that's true, but that could make sense. So I think for me, I'll keep him. And I like, for example, also the option of having Gordon maybe in the team,
Hmm.
because of course Newcastle at home, they can be quite attacking. And then City, yeah, I think City will do well as well. And they want to finish strong. They had quite a good game yesterday. So maybe again, like Mamouche, even though also there is always some rotation, but I have Mamouche and I'll keep him. So City looks quite good. West Ham, of course, with Bowen, interesting game away to Ipswich. Could be a captaincy candidate, I think. We'll talk about that later in the captaincy matrix. And then Chelsea. Yeah, I'm wearing the Chelsea shirt now. It's more
Hmm.
because of my sentimental value, let's say, sentimental memories.
Hmm.
Because I always used to be a Ruud Gullit fan. I probably spoke about that in the past. This shirt has Gullit on the back. And yeah, it was a nice when Gullit was playing for Chelsea and also was the manager there. So that's the time I bought this shirt. I brought Palmer in. This will be a really big game, by the way. Chelsea at Nottingham. I think the winner will go to the Champions League. So this will be a really interesting game. Hopefully, Palmer will show up and will do something. Then at least I brought him in for a reason. And then for the rest, yeah, Villa been doing really well, especially defensively. Also, Brentford, of course, with Mbumo and Wissa away to Wolves, also an interesting game. And then Brighton, the same against Spurs. Something to watch for, of course, tonight. We're recording on Wednesday. It's the Spurs United European family, not family final. And yeah, again, interesting who will win there. The winner might probably party a lot and could be a good team to target. And the other team will probably be tired and will also be good to target. So, like we've been doing in recent weeks, targeting United and Spurs. So,
Do you have
yeah,
any
there's a
guess
lot
who will win the game?
for. I don't know. It's a really difficult one. Two teams that have been struggling so much. Betting on this game, I think I would think probably United. Yes. I think they just at the moment, looking at the players available, they might have the best squad. Yeah.
Okay.
You? Any
Well, I need to go
expectation?
Tottenham if you are saying Manchester United, so that we can
Okay.
have another competition.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you lost already one, but yeah, maybe you can
I
win
lost
the
so
other one.
many, man. I lost so many.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. Let's look at the chart from Rob C. And while you do that, I'll look for another shirt.
Sure. Projected goals and clean sheet odds from Rapti. It is at Rapti FPL on Twitter. And so the team with the highest projected goals is Liverpool against Crystal Palace with 2.55. And the second team, well, there are actually three teams at 2.4. Bournemouth against Leicester, Newcastle against Everton, and Arsenal against Southampton. So they were also at the top of our charts. And Brighton versus Tottenham is another one with 2.15. We have, in terms of clean sheets, the Newcastle has the highest clean sheet with 44% clean sheet against Everton. So again, that's the reason I see lots of Newcastle defenders, goalkeepers in the optimal teams. And two teams at 42%, Bournemouth against Leicester and Arsenal against Southampton, 42%. Yeah, other than that, looks pretty much like you would expect in terms of like the teams and how many goals they are expected to score. One discussion topic was how Game Week 38 typically see more goals than in an average FPL game week. Well, probably because of the rotation too. I mean, lots of teams are just playing their like younger players, giving a rest to some of the senior members of the team. So maybe we will see again like more goals this game week, and maybe it will save my season and I will get into top 100k. Who knows? But yeah, this is where the odds are. Any comments on these?
No, not much. I think we covered most of it already in the previous chart. As you said, I think the expectations are quite high. This is always a high scoring game week, but at the same time, it's quite difficult to know what to bet on. I remember I had my free hit 2 seasons ago, and I was quite a failure. It didn't work. I think I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think for that reason, there's rotation, there could be early substitutions, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's also quite a difficult game to predict what will happen, like for the reasons we mentioned before, right? Bournemouth looks like they have a really good game, but maybe not so much to play for anymore. So how motivated are they? Arsenal the same, good game away to Southampton, but what team will they bring into the field? You don't know. So yeah, those kind of reasons. But yeah, so for that reason, you could of course also bet on the games where there is something to play for, like the Newcastle game, or maybe also the Chelsea game, even though that will probably be a low scoring game.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit difficult. Okay, great that we covered that. And I think after looking at the teams, we can now switch and focus a bit on the players to look at.
Sure.
And again,
Yeah.
it's only one game week left, but let's go through it.
So again, we will go with the positions, and in terms of goalkeepers, the top goalkeeper we see in this chart is Raya at 4.3 projected points against Southampton in average from the 5 commercial models we have been following for a long time. And then in the second place, we have Kepa at 4.1 against Leicester, Ellison at 4.0 against Crystal Palace, and finally Pop at the fourth place with 3.9 projected points against Everton. Well, value doesn't matter much, but if you're looking for a value option, Kepa is the best value with 4.1 projected points against Leicester. And in the second rank, we have Areola, 3.4, Flecken at 3.6 against Wolves, and finally Pop at 3.9 projected points against Everton. Well, anything you want to add, or?
Well, for me, it's a bit of a dilemma. Same like for the previous 2 game weeks. I do have Raya, who is of course quite reliable, let's say in general, but I also have Martinez, and the Villa defense is really in form. They are away to United. So yeah, of course, on paper, a more difficult game. But with Raya, again, you don't know what kind of defense he will have in front of him with both Gabriel and now also Saliba injured. So yeah, I currently have Raya in goal in my team, but maybe also depending on the result from tonight. Let's see, the result for United. Maybe that might still influence my decision whether I go for Martinez or not. But kind of splitting the bet at the moment because I also have Konza. So I think Raya in goal, and then Konza is kind of have some coverage for both defense. Probably will do that.
So I assume then if Manchester United wins the game tonight, you're more tempted to bring
Yeah, that
Martinez in.
could be
Okay.
one reason. That could be one reason. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
quite amazing how many clean sheets they've been keeping, right, in the last 6 games or so.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a team with a lot of confidence now. That also plays a role.
Yeah.
But let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the defenders. I think I'll switch shirt again. This was
Okay.
Sampdoria, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
another affiliate team, Sampdoria, Italy. By the way, they're relegated to Serie C. I think for the first time in history.
Oh,
Very sad time for the club. Quite a big club, relegated to the third level. So yeah, hope they will come back one day.
or
All
maybe we
right.
should have a Serie A fantasy podcast
Wow,
after
we could.
Italian. So
We could. But the reason why I have Italian shirts, I also have this one. This was my first one. Milan,
okay,
right?
Milan.
Where's my camera? Here, Milan. These were the days when they had Gullit, Van Basten, and Rijkaard, the three Dutch guys, in the late 80s, 90s. That was when
Mm-hmm.
I was growing up. So Milan was my team, and at that time, all the big players were going to Italy, right? They were not going to England; they were going to Italy. So that's
Yeah,
why everyone was following the Serie A. That's also why I have a few shirts. But now, of course, the focus is on the Premier League.
sure. And do I remember correctly that you have some Italian ancestry, or?
Oh yes, yes,
Okay.
indeed. My family name is Italian. My
Yeah.
grandparents moved from Italy to the Netherlands. Yeah, you are right. Yes.
Yeah. 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 Then the Italian market is next, I guess.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe we switch. Maybe we go for the Italian market next
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Defenders.
Defenders. Yes. Hausen. How do you read his name? I'm so sorry.
Huizen.
Hausen.
Huizen.
Hausen
Yeah.
is at the top of the chart.
Yes.
4.4 projected points against Leicester. We have Karkaz at 4.3 against Leicester. And Kivior at the third place. Yeah, well, obviously he's the Arsenal defender choice. Yep, Arsenal jersey coming next. 4.3 against Southampton. So the same as Karkaz, but I think spread is a little bit different. And finally, Shar at the fourth place with 4.1 projected points against Everton. And in terms of value, again, the top name is the same. We have Kivior at the second place, Zabarni at 3.8 projected points against Leicester, and finally Livramento at 3.9 projected points against Everton. Anything you wanna add here?
Well, just about Huis. What a season he had, right? And
Yeah.
he's going to Real Madrid. I think I'm
Yes.
not sure if it's 100% confirmed, but seems to be confirmed. I think. What a move for him, young guy. Still really sad that he chose to play for the Spanish national team and not for the Dutch national team.
Mm,
But I can understand. He grew up in Spain. He said, all his friends are from Spain. He speaks fluent Spanish. He also speaks fluent Dutch, but he just had more, let's say, feeling for Spain. So yeah, bit bad for the Netherlands, but yeah, a great player. And I think looking at Gaming 38, of course, definitely interesting to have a Bournemouth defender. I think especially because it's also confirmed that Vardy won't play for Leicester.
yeah.
So yeah, we spoke about this before. Like, should you bring a defender at this moment? Probably not something you would normally do because there's less upside. But I think we might see it happening, especially with the Saliba injury.
Yes.
That if the rest of the team looks decent, then why not bring in a defender? And in that case, of course, it could be Huize, it could be Kirkis. I think I would go for Kirkis actually, with a bit more attacking potential. And the other option indeed could maybe be Newcastle, even though I would say Everton more likely to score than Leicester. So I think I would rather go for a Bournemouth defender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the midfielders.
Salah is at the top of the chart as
Mm,
usual, 7.3 against Crystal
yes.
Palace. He still has, something to play for. Still didn't get
Yeah.
his assist.
Yeah.
So yeah, he will probably start too. Saka is at the second place with 6.6 projected points against Southampton. We have Kluivert at the third place, 5.4. But I guess, well, his minutes are a big question mark
Yeah,
this week. So one of the models is already projecting him to get 1.5 or something. So pretty low.
yeah,
And in the fourth place, we have Palmer, 5.4 projected points against Nottingham Forest. And in terms of value, we have Semenyo at the top of the chart, 5.3 projected points against Leicester, then Kluivert, but we talked about him. So again, the spread is a little bit interesting here.
yeah,
And Tavernier at 4.3 against Leicester, and finally Minte at 3.8 against Tottenham.
yeah, yeah.
Any
Yeah,
comments here?
yeah. We spoke about Salah, right? So I sold him, and I think I survived one game week, but game week 38 looks like a risk. But okay, it's a bet that I took. Um, and Saka, yeah, again, not sure about the minutes. Kluivert, same, not sure about the minutes. The one that I like is Gordon. I mentioned that earlier. It's not on the chart, but I think for me, Gordon could be an option. Um, or yeah, not sure yet. Not sure yet. Not sure yet what I will do. I will either sell, I think, a midfielder who will probably be Sar. I can sell Sar, or I will sell an attacker, and then it might be for Ivan Nielsen. But I also like Gakpo. Maybe Gakpo could be a way to cover the Liverpool game a bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. And while we talked, I'm wearing the Arsenal shirt. And
Yeah.
what I like about this shirt is this is one I got from Koen Visser. Maybe you remember that story, one of our listeners. And I was started
Puts a
wearing my
pity on
shirt,
you.
and I was kind of out of jerseys. And Koen sent us a message. He lives in the Netherlands, and he said, "Hey, boss, I have a collection of shirts. If you wish, if you want, you can borrow it for the podcast." I was like, "Oh man, are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm coming." He was going to Brussels. That's where I live for business. So I met him there in the hotel lobby. We did the handover, a bag of shirts. Probably looked a bit dodgy for many people there. Like, what are those guys doing? And I still have them. So Koen, if you're still listening, I would definitely didn't forget you. Thanks still a lot for that gesture. And of course, at one point you'll get your shirts back. Thanks a lot. At one point,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's the
No,
reason why we are saying we might end the podcast, not for sure.
yeah, yeah, no
Then
more
you need to
shirts.
return the jerseys.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Yeah, we're not sure. Yeah, so I can't return. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's switch to the attackers.
Sure. At the top of the chart, we have Evan Nilsson against Leicester with 5.6 projected points. Haaland is at the second place with 5.3 against Fulham. Oh, Liverpool one. We have Watkins at the third place against Manchester United at 5.0. And finally, Wood at 4.7 projected points against Chelsea. Yeah, Liverpool jersey looks good on you. With the
Thank you. The
Carlsberg
champions.
sponsorship. Yeah.
The champions.
In terms of the value, we have Evan Nilsson again at the top of the chart, 5.6. Raul at the second place, 4.2 against Manchester City. We have Strand Larsen at the third place, 4.1. And finally, Joe Pedro at 4.0 against Tottenham. I actually seen his name in the optimal team.
Okay.
Yeah, but it might be because of my team value, which is like pretty bad.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about it. I like it. It's away to Tottenham, and I think Brighton they might still need a win. Is that correct? I'm not sure, but
Uh,
think they will, think they will be motivated to go
yeah,
for a
yeah.
result,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the game against Liverpool. So João Pedro could be interesting again, depending on what Tottenham will do tonight. If they win, as we said, they might party and they will be tired. Um, but you could also say if they win, they're in a winning spirit and they might want to win another. So yeah, it's of course it's of course
So
how you
difficult,
want
man.
to think about
You're
it.
giving
But
me
no,
mixed
I do.
messages.
Tottenham, very tough season so far, right? Just like United. So you could definitely target that game, especially Brighton, knowing they're so attacking. The mistake I made, I think 2 weeks ago, was to bring in Cunha because His minutes are not really secure. I'm saying that because we see Strand Larsen in the chart, not Cunha, and I'm also not sure what I should do with Cunha. It's the home game against Brentford. Looks like Cunha will leave to United, so maybe he starts as a final game. Could also be that he's benched because he's leaving anyway, so it's really difficult to judge. Not too happy that I went for Cunha. I guess there's more people who have him with the same question. But yeah, as I said, if I would do a transfer in the attack, which might be doing, it will probably be Ivan Nilsson, the home game
Oh,
versus
okay.
Leicester. And I think yeah, it's also confirmed by this chart, topping it in terms of points for the game week. So that
Yeah.
might be an interesting one. All right, let's look at your next chart, which I think shows a bit the risk reward analysis, right?
Yeah, this is based on the projected points and the ownership rates. Well, this is
Okay.
kind of like the predicted ownership to a degree. Um, and like based on the polls, we also added the captaincy. So Salah is the highest projected points and also at the same time highest owned player. So in the top 100k. So like you can take a bet against him and hope for the best, but yeah, he is the biggest risk if you don't own him.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're looking for something interesting, so you are certainly looking for players whose variance is high at the same time the projected points is high.
Yeah.
So Kluivert, again, we talked about him about the minutes, but beside him we have Evan Nilsson, Palmer, Saka, Semenyo, around the same region where they are, high in projected points, but also they are not owned heavily. So they might be a differential option in a way if you are looking for a one game week,
Yeah.
really a big jump. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, the biggest risks besides Salah were Mbomo, Bowen, Watkins,
Yeah.
Visa, Isaac, Rogers, Raya,
Yeah.
and Guardiol. So these players, like owning these players, don't bring
Yeah.
too much advantage. It just
No.
reduces the risk so that you are kind of
Yeah.
matching your team with other people in 100k, especially if
Yeah.
you're in 100k and want to protect your
Right.
rank or like want to get closer to template. These are the players to target.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean,
No, that's
obviously,
true.
the last game week is really difficult, but we also,
Yeah.
I guess, we can get some kind of like team leagues towards the deadline. So yeah,
Right.
like many of these players, so well, obviously it depends on whether they will play or not. Also, like how much rotation the opposition will have. So like as you
Yeah.
mentioned, for some teams that who have nothing to play for, and so like if we get a league where their team sheet looks really interesting, then you can
Yeah.
obviously bet against them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is where we are right now. But this
Yeah.
this chart will probably change a little bit as we
Yeah.
get closer.
Yeah, and that's a good point because, of course, the final game week, all games start at the same time. They have the same kickoff time.
Yeah.
So this is, of course, like if you can, hold your nerves, let's say, and
Mhm.
you can wait until the final minute to make your transfers. It could be interesting, of course, to be on X or be on social media on Sunday and see if there's any leaks. Probably there will be some leaks. It's very tricky, right? Because you also don't know how reliable the leaks are.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure people will be doing that. So that's one option to see if there's any leaks and then make your transfer based on that. Yeah, what I said earlier, for me, the risk with not owning Salah, I think it's clear from this chart. It's also funny with Guardiol, like yesterday, City losing the clean sheet so late. In the end, I didn't care too much because you know that everyone has Guardiol, so
Yeah.
it wasn't really helping, or that didn't
True.
make too much difference. Um, and looking at let's say the differential players, the one I mentioned earlier is Gordon. He's also there on the chart, so I think
Yeah.
that could also
True.
be still an interesting option.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
All right, then we looked at all the individual players. Let's now look at the optimal team for the final game week.
So optimal wildcard or optimal free hit team. Well, it's a little bit difficult because of the minute uncertainty. But based on what the defaults are, we have Raya in the goal, White, Livramento, Shar. Yeah, nice jersey, Castle. White, Livramento, Shar in defense. Saka, Kluivert, Semenyo, Palmer, Salah in midfield. Joe Pedro and Evan Nilsson in forward, but in some cases you get Watkins instead of Joe Pedro. Just wanted to mention, and yeah. So this is the lineup players, and so I was playing around myself just to see if there's any, team with less projected points but still pretty good, or I should say based on my own projected points in a way. So the difference is I get Pop in the goal, and Howson in the defense, Kivior and Shar. Double Newcastle defense here, and obviously one Arsenal because they have a good fixture, and Howson. We talked about how high his projected points are. In midfield, I have Salah, Saka, Kluivert, Mbomo, and Bowen. Bowen is a little bit question mark. I mean, I think I get him because I can't afford Palmer here in this position without downgrading anyone else. But in forward, I have Evan Nilsson and Isaac, and some bench players, but they are not that relevant anyway. So the general idea, as I mentioned, you get your defenders from three teams, essentially from Arsenal, Newcastle, or Bournemouth, and midfield is pretty much the same. Like even if I tried with different options, I typically see Salah, Mbeumo, Saka. Again, you can get Palmer or Bowen. That's an option. And for Kluivert, probably there's a better upgrade there just to evade the minute uncertainty. And in forward, I always see Evan Nilsson. Evan Nilsson is the highest, one of the highest forwards anyway. I think he's the top of the chart, yeah. So, and for the second one, you have some options. You have Joe Pedro, Isaac could be an option, Watkins could be an option. It's a little bit difficult, and projected points are pretty close to say which one is like meaningfully the better option. So it's a little bit up to your minute predictions and also, how the opposition team will line up. So, but any comments on these teams?
No. Yeah, I think we talked about most of them. I'm happy to see Palmer in the team because I have him now, so I think I will definitely play him. And in attack, some interesting options. For me, it's just difficult to decide who I should sell then because I have Mamouche. Don't think I'll sell him. I've got Isaac, as we said. There is some maybe injury doubt, so let's see if there's any news from the press conferences. But I would say Isaac for the home game. I would still count on him. And then my third player is Cunha. I just brought him in 2 weeks ago. Even though it feels a bit like a mistake, it's a bit difficult to sell him. But maybe that might be the right thing to do. Cunha to Ivan Nilsson. That's definitely one option. And if I don't do that, as I said earlier, I have Sar. So then it will probably be Sar to Gordon. That's why I'm now wearing a Newcastle shirt. Newcastle. You said it as well. Interesting team to target. But of course, also maybe another Bournemouth player. Why not? Yeah, Kluivert, Semenyo, shown here in the optimal team. Two options also to consider. So difficult one. And you said, the bench doesn't matter too much. That's of course true. With just one game week to go. But again, maybe keeping in mind that the rotation might happen. Of course, it's a good thing to still think a little bit about who you put on your bench, and also, of course, the order of your bench. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. We covered a lot. I think the final data point for the game week is the captaincy chart.
Yes, we have Salah at the top of the chart with 7.26 projected points in average across 5 models. And for the last time, these 5 models are Fantasy Football Fix, Fantasy Football Hub, Fantasy Football Scout, FPL Review, and Mikael Tokvam's model. And 4 out of 5 models have Salah at the top. The only model that has a different top option is Fantasy Football Hub, where Saka is ahead, but only by 0.4%, so they are almost the same. In the second place, we have Saka at 6.6 projected points in average, and he's the second best option in every model except Hub. In the third place, we have Evan Nilsson with 5.59 projected points. And then Kluivert at the fourth place for 5.45. Palmer comes at the fifth, 5.39. Haaland at the sixth place, 5.35. And finally, Semenyo at the seventh place with 5.27. So, as you see, all the options from third to seventh, they're almost the same. I mean, they are within the error rate, I should say,
that's true.
within 0.5 projected points.
Yeah.
There's a jump to Saka at 6.6, and then there's another big jump to Salah. So yeah, I guess people with Salah will probably captain him, but people like you who don't have Salah, I don't know what you will do. What do you think?
I'm getting worried now because I don't have the top four.
You shouldn't.
I don't have Salah. I don't have Saka. I don't have Evan Nilsson. I don't have.
Yeah, you
Klavan.
can get Evan Nilsson.
I could get him. Yeah, I like Bowen. Bowen is not on the chart. Probably is not much behind this. I think. Oh, he is there at Mikkel Tokvam, number 6. Bowen away to Ipswich. That could be my bet. But that's the question for me now, right? How much should I bet? Because I'm at 101k. I would like to make a little jump still within the 100k, and I also want to secure my mini league lead. So I think in terms of securing a lead, I should probably bring in Salah. That might be the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll do that.
I guess when you
one.
were selling Salah, you were not thinking of bringing him back for the last game week. So
no, I didn't. What was I thinking? I don't know. No, I was. The thing was like we covered last time. I think if you look at the last games from Salah, he didn't do that much. I also was thinking Liverpool not too motivated anymore and already being on vacation, which proved to be true in the Brighton game. And I was thinking Palmer. He had a good game. Let's say on paper a good fixture last week. And I was also thinking he has something to play for against Nottingham. So, yeah, still like that thinking. The only thing, it's just the Liverpool home game against Crystal Palace. So, it's just, well, we'll see what happens. No, I won't be bringing him back. I made that bet now. Yeah.
Okay.
And you? Yeah, for you it will be Salah, I think.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
probably.
Yeah.
Unless we hear something interesting towards deadline, I guess. It makes sense because I'm not in 100k, so maybe I will take a bet.
Yes.
But I kept him all these game weeks, like this by most of the analytics people selling him.
Yeah.
And I probably don't want to sell him this game week just to bet against him. So I don't know. It puts me in a weird spot too, but I guess I will try to hope to get the jump from other players and keep captaincy on Salah probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. All right. Was that your final chart? Are we going to the mini league?
Yep, we are.
Okay, like usual. And usually this is the final content for our podcast. But today, please stay listening because I know Serta wants to still say something a bit more about analytics. So keep listening for that. And we'll look at the mini league. I think before we do that, let me just quickly change my shirt because otherwise I won't be wearing another one anymore. Let's just wear a Spur shirt just for the final tonight. Might be fitting.
Yep.
Even though I said I don't think they'll win, you never know. I think it will be a close game. And this was another one from Koen Visser, so I think again a shout out to him. But big news from the mini league, because guess what? Finally, Abhinav C lost the first spot. And I look back at the content from our previous episodes, and I had to go back to episode 112. So that's 16 episodes ago when we were preparing for game week 15. That's right, game week 15, to find the moment when Abhinav first took the lead. So he had the lead for a very long time, really impressive performance. And a bit sad, of course, for him that he lost the first spot now with only one game week to go. But of course, it's not over yet. The gap is only 6 points. So Abhinav, if you're listening, keep going. And congrats to our new number one. That's Thomas Danes. He had a game week score of 64 points and is now on 2,641 points in total. And number three is the same as last week. It's Alvin Wee. He's 12 points behind number two, Abhinav, and 18 points behind number one, Thomas. So good luck, everyone, and let's see if anything will still change during the final game week 38. So, Sertab, over to you. I think there was something you still wanted to say about analytics in this final episode.
Yeah, we recorded 128 episodes, so we said most of the things that's to be said about analytics. But just as we wrap up this season and the podcast, I think we wanted to reflect on highs and lows of playing FPL with an analytics mindset. Well, obviously, there are people who are not happy that analytics is a bigger part of FPL than ever before. But oh, nice jersey, by the way.
Thank you.
But I wanted to show, how extreme results could be. Like analytics is not obviously going to take you to the top spots automatically. So we asked two familiar names, and we asked them 5 different questions. One of them is Jonas, the reigning FPL champion, and the other one is Markku. He's one of the top 100 analytics managers of all time, one of the sharpest minds, I will say, in the game. But he has spent his season stuck around 1 million mark. So they use roughly the same tools, same methods, but as you see, wildly different outcomes. So I wanted to show where analytics can take you, essentially. So one thing to mention is no method in FPL would guarantee you any top 100k, top 10k. That's for sure. It's really difficult to get consistent finishes. You need to be really on top of your game, but also you need lots of luck. But when it comes to analytics, we believe you need less luck to get into better ranks. So that's kind of the premise of why we are spending so much time crunching numbers and coming with these methodologies. But yeah, however, for the methodology we believe is the best, and probably it is data and grass, perhaps you will say. Here is what they said about our questions. The first question was, I asked them to sum up their last 2 FPL seasons in one word. And Markku chose extreme. Last season he finished at 2.4k overall. And this season he's around 988,000 with 1 game week to go. So same manager, probably same methods, but very different results. And Jonas, as you know, he won FPL last year, and for these last 2 seasons, he said topsy-turvy. 1 year it all clicked, holes, captain points, rank 1, and the next season it is red arrows, bench points, failed captains. So yeah, FPL give it and FPL take it away. I also asked, how has analytics shaped their game? And for Markku, shift was natural. He mentioned he always leaned on stats, but now he's more grounded, less overreaction to small samples, individual game weeks, more respect for expected minutes, and he feels more calm within the chaos. And Jonas said analytics changed everything for him. It gave him structure, helped him push emotion aside, and made his decisions smarter. But he said it didn't make the game predictable, because Variance still gets the final word, no matter how you play the game. And that's certainly true for me too.
Yeah.
And I asked them, what advice would they give to new analytics users? And Markku's answer was simple. He said, join the analytics Discord. I will probably share a link if people want to join under the video description. He said, it's full of smart people who are happy to help, and that's where I truly improved. And he asked people, just don't look at my rank. Jonas, ever this age, said to treat analytics as a framework, not gospel. And if a model tells you something you hate, don't do it. Data is just for informing you. It doesn't own you, he said.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. I also asked, on risk, are you a gambler or a cautious optimizer? And Markku said analytics made him more comfortable with risk. When the projected points or expected value says it's a free roll, then he rolls. And if it fails, no crimes were committed because he went with the top option. Jonas took the opposite path, actually. He used to take bold punts, early transfers, wild captaincies way back. But during his winning season, he only took 3 hits. He was patient over price changes, and he valued information over impulse, he said. He still takes risk, he mentioned, but only the smart ones. And finally, my final question was, you will like this question, I said data
Yes.
or grass. And they both said data with a dash of grass. Jonas said no model is perfect, watching the game still matters. And Markku said I'm not arrogant enough to think my eye test beats models and markets, but I still watch every game I can. Just to summarize what I take away from all this, it's about making good decisions, learning from the bad ones, and doing it all together with a bit of humility, a bit of joy, and a lot of spreadsheets for analytics folks. When we started this podcast, in our very first episode, we discussed if AI is killing the game or not. But as you see, like we ended up with a community and a niche group of people who arguably spend more time than an average FPL manager and have a deeper understanding of the game, I believe, and who are also willing to learn and help others. I mean, this is all we could ask for, and I'm very grateful to have a small part in all this.
Yeah.
That's it.
And what a nice way that you ended with that question, data or grass, because we've been asking it now in 128 episodes. We never really answered it, and you just left it then for the final episode to ask these two great guys what the answer is. And it is data with a dash of grass. So we were both right all the time. That's
True.
that's excellent. All right. Well, this was finally it then. So thank you so much to all our listeners. We started really small 3 years ago. We were not really sure what we could expect, and we are really happy with what we achieved with our podcast. And a definite highlight for me was, of course, the Bronze Award that we won this year at the Football Content Awards back in November in London. Mostly, of course, thanks to all the great work Sertop has been doing with his website, FPL Optimized. And of course, with the podcast, we try to play a part by promoting the whole concept of analytics and FPL. And that was actually also the opportunity for us to meet in person for the first time. You might remember the pictures. So yeah, Sertop, thanks so much for the collaboration. It was really fun going through this journey together with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for being the perfect co-host, keeping things grounded when I spiraled into like data rabbit holes and making this podcast as fun as it was smart. We took lots of turns. We changed the format. We changed the length of the episodes. We started recording a video version, as you know, and you also took over the episode naming at one point because you were fed up with my weird episode names. So yeah, it was all fun. And to our listeners, whether you have been with us since the early wildcard days or found us halfway through, thank you. You certainly challenged us, inspired us, and made all the time and effort worth it. We certainly enjoyed reading your comments and replies. Certainly there were days we were not sure how to proceed, but did it anyway, hoping that it could be useful to some of you. Maybe one day we will miss the red arrows, and also the optimization is killing FPL debate so much that we will return. But until then, you need to keep questioning, keep learning, and don't forget luck swings both ways. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky, but good process always stays. And as my very last message, the analytics community is still thriving, and we have a Discord server, as I mentioned, for the analytics community. You can send me a message if you can find the invite link, and I can share with you. So this summer we are planning to have our second Python summer camp, and I will announce it soon, probably. Yeah. Hope you can join us. But yeah, I mean it's a journey. Analytics is a journey, so there's so much to learn and so much to develop. So yeah.
No, that's true. It's a journey. Also for me, when we started, of course, I said that before. We work both for the same company and we are in analytics, but I'm in marketing and you're really a data scientist. So through this podcast, it also helped me to learn a few things about analytics and the whole optimization topic. So I've been really enjoying that. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
And for this final part, I'm wearing the shirt of my hometown team. So I've mentioned that before. I think it's the only team I really care about in terms of results. The one that I check every weekend, like how they did, even though it's quite a bad team, second level in the Netherlands, but it's from my hometown, Maastricht. And yeah, this is still the team I'm rooting for. So maybe that's fitting to wear this now at the end of the podcast. Kind of stop thinking about the Premier League and I'll just go back to my hometown team. Well, it's not like that. I will definitely keep playing FPL. It's not like we will stop playing, I think, but at
Yeah.
least we can play a bit more casually, even for me, a bit more casually. And, don't won't record the podcast anymore. But again, thanks everyone. You can certainly stay subscribed to the podcast in case we do miss it so much and decide to record some surprise episodes. You never know. In that case, yeah, you will still be notified. And of course, you can also keep following us on social media. We enjoyed the ride. Thanks everyone for listening and for supporting us.
And stay curious and stay analytical. Goodbye.